Yeah, that was interesting. Hey guys. All right. So, not too long ago, I went on a shopping trip to Barnes& and Nobles. And once again, I was stuck trying to figure out which puzzles I wanted to get during their buy one get one 50% off sale. Now, typically when I do go on my puzzle shopping trips, I do my absolute best to, purchase puzzles from brands that I've never tried before, ones that I'm looking forward to trying, ones that you've recommended. And one of the puzzles that I did pick up from that sale was one from a brand that I've tried a number of times, but what made this one special to me was that it was a puzzle count that I haven't tried from that brand, if that made sense. I think you'll get what I'm getting at in a second. But anyways, the brand that I am talking about is Ravensburger. And this one is called Corner Bakery. It is 750 pieces and it's 32 by 24 inches when it's completed. Now, as I mentioned before, I have tried Ravensburger before. I've mainly tried, I think I've only tried their 1000 count puzzles. I've never actually tried one of their 750 counts. And what I also found interesting about this one as well, as it says very, clearly on the front of the box here, is that these are large pieces. They're extra large format, easy to see and handle. In other words, as it says here, it's a supersized puzzle. So I thought that was really interesting. I already know what the experience is with the 1000 counts. I want to know what this is all about here, especially the piece size. Will the hold be different? Will it be worse? I don't know. But one thing I do know is that I am completely in love with this image. I mean, this is my bakery. If I had one, I'd love to have one. And this is such a cozy looking shop. I absolutely love it. What I don't love is the fact that someone left the door open and a random dog just happened to walk inside. Hopefully he won't drop anything on the floor. But anyways, as I said, I'm super curious to compare this puzzle alongside, I'm going to do the 750 piece count, but I realize, what? Maybe I need to refresh my memory, or maybe I just feel like doing another Ravensburger puzzle, because I have another one here that was sent to me from Sam. So thank you, Sam. This one's absolutely gorgeous. It is Beauty and the Beast from Ravensburger's Disney Collector's Edition series from 1991. It is 1000 pieces and it's 70 by 50 centimeters when it's completed. All I know is that I absolutely love this image. I'm super excited to work on it, and I'm also really interested to see, as I've said probably a number of times at this point, I don't remember, I'm very interested to see what these two experiences are like, how they compare, how they, what's the other word? Don't compare? You know what I mean. But anyways, guys, I got a lot of puzzling to do here. I feel like this is going to take me a while. So you know what? Let's get these opened up and let's see what we're going to be dealing with. All right, so let's get these two opened up. Now, let me see. I want to open this one first, the 1000 count, because we kind of already know, what these are all about. So let's get in here real quick. All right, I forgot to mention that it does have tapes on all 4 sides of the box, but oh my God, look at that image. That's so gorgeous. Anyways, let's get on with the puzzle. All right, so with Ravensburger, they don't have a reference poster, though I think I have heard from some of you that they've started putting them in their boxes now, but I don't know. But one thing we do know about Ravensburger is that they do love them puzzle dust. Look at that, it's all inside the box. But anyways, let's make a little quick snippet here so that we can pull some of these pieces out to do a comparison between the two here. All right, I'm trying to get a number of pieces here to get a good idea of what the print is like on this particular puzzle. And so far from what I'm seeing, pieces with the film reel, the print looks really nice and sharp. But when it gets to this piece here, I don't even think you can tell just from, the camera view right here, but it kind of looks a little blurry. And this looks to be the area right here on the staircase. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's meant to look like that. I don't know, this piece looks super blurry. I don't know if you can see the blurriness with the print on this one. But, the film reel does look nice and sharp. I don't know. Some of these, I'm guessing, depending on where it is on the image looks sharp, some look blurry. I don't know. This is interesting, but in terms of the piece strength, I mean, this tab feels a little weak for some reason. I don't know if that was me when I was separating the pieces, you know, being a beast and all that. I don't know, but you know, for the most part, these are nice pieces. Got ourselves 0.08 inches in terms of thickness, or 2.1 millimeters. And I want to do the piece size, of course, because the other one is supposed to be the larger pieces. So for this, we have 29.1 millimeters, or we have 1.14 inches. So let's remember that. I'm probably not going to remember that when I open the other box what this was. But anyways, I'll do my best to remember. But in terms of these pieces, I mean, yeah, typical 1,000 piece Ravensburger set. Now, as I said, I'm really more curious about the 750 count. We have our actual piece size here. So, you know what? Let me just stop rambling. Let's just open this already. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, they're so big. Oh, look at that. So is that puzzle dust. That's some good puzzle dust in there. But anyways, we kind of already knew that was probably going to happen. Let's open these up and let's see if these are the same in terms of thickness, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. I'm trying to get pieces that have quite a bit of detail going on them so that we can kind of see if it's sharp, blurry. I mean, I don't know. This is kind of hard to tell because I'm not sure if it's like the nature of the image that it's supposed to look like a painting, or if this is just, I mean, I don't know. But anyways, I mean, it doesn't seem like the colors look as vibrant as they do on the box. I don't know. The box seems a little bit more vibrant, but anyways, in terms of piece size, I mean, obviously we got ourselves a nice big piece here. Here we have our comparison, so that's your 1,000 count, and this is your 750 count puzzle. Fantastic. Let's see the thickness. As I said, I know I'm not going to remember, but I'm sure you guys can rewind it and see what the thickness and size is. We have 0.08 inches, which I think was the same. Was it? I don't remember. And we have 2.1 millimeters. And in terms of the size, we have ourselves here 42.6 millimeters, or 1.68 inches. So almost a 2-inch piece here, which is very, very nice. Wow. And in terms of the strength, I mean, I'm being gentle on it, but I'm kind of, you know, putting a little force just to see how far it'll go. And to be honest, not too bad. I mean, sometimes the bigger the piece, the more flimsy it can get. But yeah, I wonder if the 750 count puzzle would kind of be, you know, still crumbly, you know, because I feel like the 1,000 counts in my experience have always had a bit of a crumbly issue to them, but I don't know. It has been a while, so you know what? I don't really know which one I'm going to work on first. They're both super amazing images. I can't wait to get started on them. So you know what? I'm going to quit my ramblings and I'm just going to get started on sorting one of these puzzles. All right, let's finally move on. Alright, so let's get started on this beautiful 1,000 piece Disney puzzle. For some reason, it took me an excessive amount of time to figure out which one I wanted to work on first, but then I figured, you know what, it's been a while since I've worked on a Disney, so I steered towards my happy place. For the sorting, I decided to keep the pieces in the box because, my goodness, that puzzle dust is no joke. Alright, this didn't take me as long as I thought it would, which is never a bad thing, but anyways, here's what I did. First tray here, we have all of our edge pieces. We have all the pieces with that film reel on it, so it's going to be all this down here. Next tray, this is the biggest, well, I should say the most full tray that I have. And we have, as you can see, very light purple pieces, but you got like random things going on in them. You kind of have detail throughout, so obviously it's going to be any of these light purpley pinky areas, and you're going to have the railings, all this crazy stuff. That's a big tray. That one's scaring me, but anyways, let's move on. This tray here has some more of the purple pieces, but I don't know how to describe this. We got some little twinkles going on here. I have some black pieces, kind of like just a bunch of random pieces. And I'm thinking it's gonna be pieces that have to go anywhere in these areas. Next tray we have, as you can see, mostly reds, and this little tab right here is full of brown pieces. So now that I look at this picture, I'm guessing it's these areas and basically the carpet, because that's red, right? Yeah. This tray we have blues. As you can see, we have blues with some yellow or gold, you can say, and it's gonna be curtains. Probably some of these are mixed in there as well. The bits with the twinkles, we have the window, and I'm sure parts of the beast jacket is in there too. Next tray we have mainly yellows, probably yellows and gold, I guess you can say. So obviously we have Belle's dress, we have parts of Beast's outfit here as well, and I'm pretty sure I threw in there anything else that I saw that was yellow and on the lighter shade. And then the last tray here, we have pieces for the characters. So we'll have Cogsworth, Lumiere, Miss Potts, and more parts of them and whatnot. So yeah, of all the trays here, the top, this one here and that one, I think are going to be my most challenging. The edges look a bit intimidating as well, because it's pretty much the same aside from the bottom here where it has some bits of the film reel, but we'll see, right? But anyways, let's move on with this.
So I went a little wild and crazy here. I did not start with the edges. Instead, I decided to start with the tray I thought I could piece together the quickest, or what I thought looked the easiest. And it wasn't too bad. I enjoyed putting together the little scenes in the film reel, as it reminded me of my much younger years, watching this movie with my little brother in our room. The simple days. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love Disney so much. It always takes me back and makes me feel like a kid again. But anyways, back to the puzzle. After getting the film reel together, I attempted to get the edges in, but only worked up to getting most of the bottom frame done. Then it was on to the characters. I then went on to the yellow tray because, I wanted to get Belle's dress going, but that was a tricky one. And that involved me having to very early on sort by shape. But once that was all in, it was on to filling in the rest of the background.
Alright, so I feel like I have gotten quite a bit done in the amount of time I've been puzzling for, but here is what I have left. So I've started piecing together these candle pieces on this tray, and then on this one here, it's kind of just random pieces. I can't quite figure out where they go exactly at the minute, but we got, as I said, we got quite a lot done here. Got some stragglers here. I'm trying to get these, what do you call these? The statues? I'm trying to get those statues done, but I have these two trays here so far, and oh wait, I forgot. I have the edges here, which I'm probably going to end up doing last. And then I realized earlier, like, oh, look, I have this big tray here as well to work on. And I know for a fact this is going to need resorting into who knows how many piles. So you know what? I'm probably going to, I don't know if I'm going to get these pieced in, or maybe I need to work on that first before I get these in there. But anyways, you know what? Let's move on with resorting that tray. All right, let's see how long that's going to take me.
This puzzle took me about 5.5 hours to complete. Some of it was easy, other areas not so much. But overall, I very much enjoyed putting this one together. And not only because of the image, but my experience with this particular Ravensburger was totally different compared to my other 1,000 count Ravensburger experiences. What blew my mind with this one was that the sections actually held on together and it wasn't crumbly. I was shocked. Could this be? Those were my two biggest issues with this brand. And again, that bad taste in my mouth was left from my previous experiences with this brand. Like, what the heck? Would this totally change my feelings on this ever so popular puzzle brand? Well, you'll just have to wait to hear what I have to say towards the end of the video. But before then, let's move on to the 750 count larger piece size puzzle, Corner Bakery, and see what that experience is all about. Would it be the same? Would it be even better? Will it suck? I didn't know what to expect when I finally got into that one. I was just thrown a curveball with the last one.
Alright, to be honest, this one was a bit confusing because I wasn't really sure. Well, I thought I was sure initially how to go about this, but when I got into the pieces, I went blank. But anyways, what I figured I'd try to do here was kind of collect all the pieces with, like that have the same, I guess, obvious color tones, more obvious ones, if that makes any sense. Let me just show you. So, of course, we have our edge pieces here. These pieces overall were kind of like the lighter tone pieces. So we have like this light purpley blue one. No, wait a minute. This is the purple one. Whites and just very light colors. This one, as you can see, we have green going on here. So this is most likely going to be like, obviously the floor tiles, we have the ceiling, and I think I threw in any other green bits from the image as well. For the next tray here, as you can see, there's more blues. So we're going to have anything from like the counters, the doors, this area here as well. Next tray, this is just one big mess. And this is going to be pieces that have all the food. So it's going to be anything behind the, glass display and probably some other random things as well. There's no like set color tones with this one. It's just mostly food. Here you can see we have pieces with blacks. This one is mainly pieces with like that beigey tone. So it's going to be anything from like, as you can see, the walls and whatnot, and any little details that are in there as well. And then as you can see here, we have more of like the reds, brown, well, not browns. Is it browns? I don't know. The cabinet to me looks reddish, like a cherry wood. We'll just say that. Cherry wood. And I also put in pieces in here that had like this red tone as well with the white, which is going to be this awning here. So yeah, that's kind of what I did. I thought that was going to be much harder to explain, but it actually wasn't. So with this all said and done now, let's finally move on to piecing it together.
So this time I did start with the edges, then quickly moved on to the trays with the least amount of pieces. And my china cabinet, awning, and menu board started to take shape. Once those two trays were done, of course it left me with a bunch of big piles to sort through. But I do remember thinking, that's okay. I took on the challenge happily because I was so excited to see the rest of my bakery take shape.
Alright, I feel like I'm doing pretty good here. And I feel like I'm getting through it fairly quickly because, the piece size, you see so much within each piece. We got a lot of detail going on in each one. So it just makes it overall, for me, it's easier to see and figure out where they belong. And I must say, one thing that I'm really liking, well, not liking, more like loving about this puzzle is the hold. They're actually holding on pretty darn well. I know I only have two pieces in each of these, but I've had bigger sections that I've moved around, and it's just been really easy, which is fantastic. We got a lot taking shape here. We have the china cabinet. Is that a china cabinet? No, well, I guess some kind of cabinet display. We have the menu board, the door, getting the counters in place and whatnot. I don't have much in these trays here. As you can see, there's like a few pieces in each. For like the floor counters, we got green for the ceiling and the tiles. The only tray I'm worried about is this one here. This one is jam-packed full with pieces that have like the pastries. There's a lot of detail going on in here, so I'm not really sure how I'm gonna go about resorting it. But we'll see. I'm gonna try to whittle these down a bit more before I take on this one. But then again, I don't know. I might do that one. Who knows? Let's just move on.
Really, the rest of the trays weren't as challenging as I thought they'd be. But then again, maybe I was just too excited to get this image complete. To me, there's nothing better than working on a puzzle image that just keeps your puzzle juices super flowing. Definitely the case with this one. After about 4 hours, my bakery was finally ready to open for the day. And hopefully someone will hurry up and claim this dog. But anyways, after these two very surprising Ravensburger experiences, I had to take some time to ponder about whether they had changed my overall opinion of this brand for good.
Yeah, that was interesting. They both really surprised me, and in a very good way. So let's just get right to the point here. Like all the other Ravensburgers that I've tried, the piece quality on both of these were fantastic. The print was great, the colors were so sharp and bright, very true to the box image. The pieces have a good thickness and strength, and the variety of piece shapes makes it a lot of fun. But of course, the big difference here with these two was the piece size. Now the 1000 count, I feel, is a great size for the count. I mean, it's about average really, but that 750 count, like, just wow. If my measurements were right, it was about half an inch bigger than the 1000. They were very easy to handle, very easy to see all the details in there. And I wasn't really surprised that they didn't feel as, strong on the tab areas. I did find a couple of pieces that were a little bent and had some peeling going on, but it was only like 3 of them, so it wasn't too bad. But I was surprised, and I mean super surprised, that both puzzles had a great fit and hold. Like even the 1000 count, that just blew me away. Because if you've been here long enough, and I mean like since my very first Ravensburger experience, which was also a 1000 count puzzle, by the end of that, I really wasn't all that impressed with the brand. Honestly, I really didn't understand what all the fuss was about, you know, in terms of popularity. And it was all because of the lack of hold and crumbliness that I experienced during that, puzzle completion, that it just ruined it for me. And it happened to me again a number of times. But this experience was something else. I was able to pick up big sections, small ones, long, short, it didn't matter, and move them around the table. It was fantastic. And then the 750 count did exactly the same thing. Probably even better. I don't know. Like, these two were seriously the very best Ravensburger experiences I've ever had. And maybe if this happened, at the very beginning for me, like for my first experience, I probably wouldn't have felt so bitter about the brand all this time. So you're probably thinking now, like, hey Mandy, does this change your overall opinion about Ravensburger now? And I don't know. I can't really say that it has. Because my goodness, my experience with this brand has kind of been consistently bad up until this point. And when I say bad, I don't mean like they've been like the worst things ever. It's just that the hold is always something that's very important to me when I'm putting a puzzle together. And I know not everybody cares about that, and that's normal, that's okay. It's just I tend to be picky about that kind of thing. But yeah, as I said, I wish I was experiencing this since the very beginning. Because if it was consistently this amazing, I would dare say it would be perfect. It'd be the perfect puzzle. But really now, I'm just totally confused. But anyways, I know just about all of you have at least once tried a Ravensburger puzzle. So please let me know down below if you've had any of these inconsistencies with this brand. Or if you've always had perfect or sucky experiences. Really, I'm just curious to know if I'm the only one who's confused about their true feelings for this brand. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you've been working on some amazing puzzles. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.